And now it's time for a Star Trek story.
Last time on Star Trek Stories, we were talking about the value of ambition, Aren. Which leads us to what we're talking about today, a sort of follow-up sequel question. How valuable is accepting where you are?
Also invaluable.
Also invaluable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's part of it all.
Mm-hmm.
You got to kind of accumulate the data as much as you can, and then amidst all that chaos, try to find your point amidst all that data. Right? Look at where you are in that moment. That's very valuable, especially when you're looking at where you want to be.
Yeah, so what's the point in being ambitious if you don't know where you are at the moment?
Silliness.
Well, and of course, Star Trek has its own things to say on this, because Star Trek has many thoughts and feelings about things. And which is why we talk about them here on Star Trek Stories. Yay!
Woo!
Yes, you are listening to episode 32, The Best of Both Worlds, Part 2. I, of course, am your sterling host, Jaron Hatch, and I'm joined here by my ritzy co-host, Aren Cole. Hello, Aren.
Putting on the Ritz.
Putting on the Ritz. Yes, we are near the end of our look at the TNG Renaissance. Last time we watched, of course, the Best of Both Worlds, the epic season 3 finale where Captain Picard gets assimilated by the Borg. And now all eyes in America are on TNG. And, of course, appropriately, we are bringing back our guest host from last week to watch part 2 with us. Back in the captain's chair, watching with us this week, we have the very lovely Aren Hatch on the show once again. Hello, Aren.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
It's been so long. How are you?
I know. I'm good. How are y'all?
So good, y'all.
Yeah, not too bad. Been a solid weekend. Went and saw Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Oh, that did happen, didn't it?
That did happen.
Oh. Yeah, we're going to go see it soon.
Yeah, I can safely say it is not the best Indiana Jones movie. It's the Disney Plus Indiana Jones movie. That's
Okay.
what it is.
Okay. Cool. That's fine.
It has its things, but yeah, maybe we'll do indie stories at some point. Yeah, well, Aren, thank you for coming back on with us and talking about some Star Trek.
Of course, always.
Always.
You know I would be here crouching in the corner of every episode if I could. Just making little goblin noises in the
Star Trek
back.
Goblin.
Yeah.
What does a Star Trek goblin sound like?
Star Trek.
Yes! As you're doing, like, you guys missed it because they started, like, writing.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm
They were
assuming a
scribbling.
ledger. It's like a Gringotts goblin, but they're keeping the Star Trek books.
I thought it was like a piece of leaf or whatever they could get their hands on. Like, yeah. All right.
Oh,
My
God.
notes.
Yes, and we are on a quest to remind Aren that Next Generation is, of course, the best Star Trek. So we brought them on for the classic
I
two-parter.
will feed into your delusions for today.
So we talked about this when you came on for the episode last week. The Next Generation is not your particular favorite. It's actually relatively low on your Star Trek tier list. And we talked about, the lack of characterization as one of the conflict between the characters as being, you called it kind of like a sterile hospital.
Yeah.
That's kind of how you feel about TNG.
A sad library.
So we talked about what you don't like about TNG, and why it's not your favorite. I'm curious. So a couple things I want to follow up on that. What is it about you do like about TNG in particular?
it has some really quirky stories, but I feel like the whole thing is just so positive about humanity and the future, in a way that makes you just like, I want this to be true. I want, it really shows the good in people, and cooperation, and maybe not diversity so much, but like kind of, I don't know. Having an android character trying to explore his humanity on the main cast to me is, and not in like, I don't know, the way they did it specifically, I really, really enjoy. Like, Data is definitely one of like the best parts of TNG, if not secretly the best, but of course. but yeah, I really like that. I like, because it's so different. I feel like so, especially if you watch it now amongst all of these other shows that are just so dark and brooding and negative.
No one is doing what TNG.
There's like no hope. There's just this, and you can see it. Even as much as I dislike the set, you can see it. It's light. There's light everywhere. It's bright. You can see what's going on. Everything about it just points to this like the spirit of cooperation and curiosity and science and I don't know.
All the things.
Yes, it's just all the fun, happy things.
Yeah, not to say that's not to say that nothing ever dark happens on the show. Like, I mean, clearly we're in the middle of this two-parter, and it gets real dark, and there's other dark episodes. As things can get really serious on this show, but there's always this kind of undercurrent of, but we can do it together, kind of a thing.
It's all gonna be okay in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never really worry about the characters like you do in some other shows. Right?
Yeah, and all the shows have that to some degree, but Next Generation certainly is probably like the poster child.
Oh yeah,
of that whole sensibility, and we've talked about on the show. Like, I mean, we're dedicating a good chunk of episodes on our 100 episode list to Next Generation, and by far and away has the most episodes on the list. Just because it for me it really feels like the linchpin show around which the whole franchise pivots. I'm also curious. So I think you may have mentioned briefly last time, but if not Next Generation, what is your go-to Star Trek?
Deep Space Nine.
Nice.
Is
correct.
Yeah. Well, if you like character conflict,
yeah, no, it has so many all the time, constantly.
Yeah, it's almost like even though they're kind of like companion shows, it is. It's not the antithesis, but it's almost the polar opposite Star Trek show. Even though they're set like in a contemporary kind of world, and they're parallel shows to a degree, they're very different.
But this one I like because I can see it feels more real. Because like these people are still majority, like they're good people, they don't seem as as a lot of people nowadays. So you can still get that feel, and they're future people and they live in this world, but but it feels more real. Yeah. They're actual people and characters that are living in this universe. And also the fact that it's away from like the heart of Federation space and stuff, and like it's in this part of the galaxy that has some shit going on, so they have to deal with that. And I don't know, there's so many conflicts. There's big conflicts, there's little conflicts, they're all delicious and beautiful.
Well, we should probably just
skip to DS9. I agree. Let's go.
To DS9.
Let's go.
Oh, man.
Oh, actually, I already brought my Blu-ray edition of.
Funny you say such. And a pizza, a large pizza, and a Blu-ray DS9.
Yeah, of course, we are big Deep Space Nine fans on this show, and we're slowly inching ever closer to Deep Space Nine.
We'll get there.
We still got a bit to go, though.
Stans is what we are. DS9 stans.
Oh, hardcore stans. And I know some of the people listening are just like, get to it.
I'm still giving an Enterprise shout out.
And other people are like, TNG all the way.
To our question that we asked earlier, Do you think there is value in accepting where you are outside of this kind of more practical or utilitarian approach where it's like, I'm taking stock where I am so I can decide where I want to go? Is there value outside of that, just in and of itself, accepting where you are?
Yeah, I mean, I think you should be able to. Life is lived to be enjoyed and lived, and I don't think you can do that if you're not accepting where you are. Otherwise, you'll just be stuck, in this box away from reality, because you can be in a terrible place, but if you don't accept where you are, I don't think you can find the good of what might be around you, possibly. If that makes sense, it's hard to put words to what I'm thinking in my head.
I mean, it kind of lets you have that like space to kind of find joy just wherever you are.
Exactly.
It's like if you can't be happy, if you're always chasing like something that you think is going to make you happy, you probably actually never will be happy.
Yep.
But if you can learn to be happy where you are, no matter where that is.
Like, even if it's the smallest things, you can be dissatisfied with where you are in life, but if you try to find at least what good you can where you are and what you have now, then that's important.
That holds value too.
Yeah, just as important as having hope for things to change.
And of course, I would assume, like, what's the potential danger of embracing such a mindset? Maybe too hard.
Like, say you're in a bad place and you come to a place of self-awareness in that space. Like, this is where I am, and that's where you take stock, and you kind of accept that as your reality. Like someone who's deep in a state of addiction, or
and who's like, I'll always be here forever.
Yeah. Like, this is what it is. This is what it will always be. No chance to improve. No chance to save myself.
That's true. Actually, yeah. I think it's like acceptance with hope versus acceptance without hope, in a way.
Well, let's see if Star Trek helps us find acceptance in where we are. And where we are is in season 4 of Star Trek: The Next Generation. Woohoo! Yes, we are watching The Best of Both Worlds Part 2. This premiered September 24th, 1990. This is the first episode produced for the 4th season, the big season premiere and resolution to the cliffhanger from last season. When this episode was first coming out, there was a lot of hype and anticipation around this episode. Basically, throughout the entire summer, this anticipation and hype was just growing and growing and growing. And so suddenly lots of people were now tuning in. It's like, what's going to happen now? Where's this show going to go? So, yeah, now it is almost a switch where they've been recontextualizing and re-energizing the show. We are now basically, and now the show is huge. Michael Piller did come back as the head writer, and is also the writer of this episode. He did write part 1, but wasn't sure how to resolve the episode because he didn't bother to come up with the resolution because he thought someone else would do it. So he inherited his own problem. This is when staff writer and future executive producer in Star Trek Brannon Braga joined the show around this time. And when he met Michael Piller, Piller just introduced himself and said, I'm trying to figure out how to beat the Borg. I have no idea what to do, but hey, I'm your boss. So that'll be the biggest thing we're looking at in this one is how they pay off or resolve part 1. And we will see how they get to complete Riker's journey that they started in part 1, where he was deciding whether or not he should move on with his career or stay on with the Enterprise. That was kind of like the big emotional crux of the last episode. So those are the 2 things we're going to be looking at in this one. All right, for those of you at home who are listening and are planning to watch with us, Star Trek: The Next Generation is streaming on Paramount Plus. You can find this by bringing up Season 4, Episode 1, and we will be back after you watch The Best of Both Worlds Part 2.
I've heard a lot of people talking down in 10 forward. They expect to be dead in the next day or so. They trust you. They like you. But they don't believe anyone can save them.
I'm not sure anyone can.
When a man is convinced he's going to die tomorrow, he'll probably find a way to make it happen. The only one who can turn this around is you.
I'll do the best I can.
You're going to have to do something you don't want to do. You have to let go of Picard.
Maybe you haven't heard. I tried to kill him yesterday.
You tried to kill whatever that is on the Borg ship, not Picard. Picard is still here with us, in this room. If he had died, it would be easier, but he didn't. They took him from us a piece at a time. Did he ever tell you why we're so close?
No.
Oh. Then let me just say that our relationship is beyond friendship, beyond family. And I will let him go. And you must do the same. There can only be one captain.
It's not that simple. This was his crew. He wrote the book on this ship.
If the Borg know everything he knows, it's time to throw that book away. You must let him go, Riker. It's the only way to beat him. The only way to save him. And that is now your chair, Captain.
All right, we just got done watching The Best of Both Worlds, Part 2. In case you haven't seen this or didn't watch it with us, so carrying on from the last episode, Captain Picard has been kidnapped by the Borg during their invasion of Earth, leaving Commander Riker in command, now the captain of the Enterprise, and he kind of has to figure out how they're going to defeat the Borg, especially with Picard leading the charge, and since the Borg have all of Picard's knowledge, and kind of has to come to terms with the fact that he's the captain of the Enterprise now. When all is said and done, they are able to rescue Picard and defeat the Borg. Riker goes back to being first officer. Picard is back in command, but we are left with definitely a lingering shot of Picard contemplating what has just happened to him.
Yeah, that last shot was a little ominous, to say the least.
Oh, my God. All right. Initial thoughts coming off of The Best of Both Worlds Part 2. Aren, we'll start with you.
I almost felt like I was watching one of the TNG movies.
Really?
There's some, I don't know, there's some music and the way things are, I don't know, shot and whatever, that just really made me think of both Insurrection and First Contact. And so it made me enjoy it even more because I am a TNG movie enjoyer. So, but yeah, I thought that was cool. I was like, I never got that feeling before when I watched it. But yeah, very different episode than the first part. Big shift into the Borg stuff.
Very Borg heavy, this one.
Yeah.
But in all the best ways.
Yeah. Yeah, like it was really cool because you arrive at the debris field, And then the clever plan that they had to get, Picard back, that was great. And then him, like, again, using all of the experience of the team members. Like, we have O'Brien there, and Crusher, and Data, and even Troy there.
And Crusher's bangs.
To help while everyone else is doing, on the bridge, doing that stuff. And the fact that it ends with, like, Riker having to make almost basically an even harder choice.
Yeah.
Suicide run into the
yeah.
cube.
Sir?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, my only real problem with the episode was the fact that suddenly Picard is back in his ready room. And I'm like, no, he should still be in, like, sick bay or something.
He's got a few bandages on his head,
it's like, why are you here?
Is that what it is? I thought it was, like, remaining prosthetic from the Borg.
I thought it was remaining prosthetics, too, but...
That could be bandages, too.
Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know what that is. I think it's supposed to be, like, it could be parts they haven't fully removed yet.
Yeah, that's what I always thought it was. It's, like, the one piece at a time. Because I think that shows up a little later with other Borg deconstructions when they're trying to rehabilitate people. Like, it's like one piece at a time with the cybernetic
parts. It is very kind of it. Like, I had that thought cross my mind. It's like, this does feel like a kind of, movie. It's still like a television like show, and they got a television budget. Though you can kind of tell, like, for these 2 episodes, the budget's a little higher than it normally is, but it does have that kind of little mini movie feel.
Oh, literally just insert First Contact insurrection music and then just dim the lights a little, and it's like, this is a TNG movie.
TNG movie. Yeah, Aaron, your thoughts coming off of the Best of Both Worlds Part 2?
Gosh, can it get better than the season finale? Yes, it can. Try the season premiere and the 2-parter finale. Like, oh my gosh, what an episode.
Yeah, you enjoyed this part more than the first one?
I did.
Yeah.
It's like you said, it was much more like movies.
Cinematic.
The movie energy got brought to the TV show, which they probably could have used more of. Honestly, a little more JJ, maybe.
A little more JJ.
Just a touch, just like a dash of JJ.
A touch. I mean, that's hard to do episode week after week, but but it feels very big here for sure. More action heavy.
Yeah.
This one. I am in the camp of I like part 1 more because I like the part 1 is more character heavy, and part 2 is more action heavy.
Yes, but you still get the follow through on all those quandaries from the character drama from the first episode, right?
Yeah,
which I love. You never see that. Like, so many questions get asked in modern TV and never get answered anymore. It's like,
kind of
come on.
Dissolve.
Yeah, like, where did that go? That wrapped it up beautifully. That's why it was so solid.
It's all still there. Yeah, it's not like suddenly everything is forgotten. It's just Borg stuff. Even though that's much more in the front seat in this episode. I think I just like the part 1 feels so well. I love the build up, and this for me feels like a lot of resolution, which makes sense, of course. So as an individual episode, I do like part 1 better, but honestly, it's like, but if you're watching this as just a whole, which really you should, it is just one big, 2-part episode. I think the whole thing as a whole is incredibly strong. What do you think, Aren? Where are you on terms of, like, is this on par with the first one? Better? Worse?
I think they're about the same. They're
about
just
the same for you.
Different focuses. Different foci.
Right. Foci. I mean, it's really act 1 and 2 of a 2-act.
Yeah. So I'm hesitant to even try and compare them, since it's this one big story, and one can't work without the other one necessarily.
No, this one's completely dependent.
Yeah.
On the episode that followed.
Yeah. So, but this was very exciting, though.
Sure.
And I think they found a good solution to the problem they had
with the Borg.
Yeah.
How to beat the story.
Yeah, it was interesting. and, utilized all the cast members, and I didn't know what was going to happen.
Nah, you had forgot.
I have forgotten.
Yeah. What do you think about like the resolution to like the Borg problem, Aren? It's because it's not like it is not what they don't do is they don't overpower the Borg. It's not like they don't beat him with pew pews. It's kind of more of this surreptitious, sneaky. They're able to identify like a weakness finally in like the Borg.
But they also beat them with friendship.
With
friendship.
Because
with the power of
Picard
friendship.
reached out.
And with the power of Riker's decision making. Like he outmaneuvers the Borg.
And not just the Borg, but the Borg with Picard.
Yeah. Like as soon as he gets the guidance.
Just because they said, oh, but Picard knows everything about it, but Riker knows Picard, so it's kind of an even match, if it's them going against each other.
Exactly. It's like, I outsmarted you outsmarting. Ho, ho, ho. Riker gets the edge, though.
Yeah, I think my favorite part about this is the tete-a-tete between Riker and Picard. Like, because now, like, there's this kind of, and Michael Piller wrote it as kind of like, this is like a father versus son kind of a thing, where it's like, the son has to, defeat the father figure that's always been there for him in order to like save and redeem him. So it's kind of like a Vader, Luke Skywalker thing kind of, where it's like.
But Riker's already kind of defeated that at this point, so it's more like a master versus student.
Like a pupil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Kind of a thing. Yeah, I like that, and it is interesting in the scenes. Even though the Borg have this group consciousness, Picard as Locutus gets in those kind of like, he refers to himself as I, and then we'll get in like incorrect strategy number 1. Like there's this kind of personal dynamic to it. Like there's enough Picard in there that it so they are going head to head against each other. That's interesting to watch. And then especially when like, I think my favorite scene in this is when Guinan comes in.
Yep, I was going to say, another solid Guinan scene.
Yeah, the two best scenes in these episodes, the Guinan. We haven't really
by the way, I'm going to come in and steal the show.
Sit in the captain's chair. And she usually has scenes with like Picard, but this was a good Riker Guinan scene where she's like, you have to let him go. Because in the scene before, Riker is like, you can tell he's really nervous, and he's like, he's giving the speech to the crew. It's like, I can't replace Captain Picard.
That
and I don't know what he would say, And then Guinan's like, hey, Picard has to go. Like, you're running the show now.
You could write a book about all the things that went right from before that scene to after that scene, and like Jonathan Frakes' performance and yeah, just the energy, the shift to the next act, right? Oh my God, amazing.
One point of a little bit of disappointment. Everything from part 1 shows back up in this one. But one thing that for me is noticeably absent is, I don't feel there is a full resolution to the Riker Shelby thing. It's still in the episode, and you see them kind of like, okay, but like she doesn't have nearly as much to do in this one. She becomes first officer, and then they're so laser focused on Riker being captain now, and then like at the end defeating the Borg, that Shelby's whole kind of arc
I had that thought maybe in the third act a little bit. She was in the shots, but she wasn't doing anything. She was just reacting to stuff that other people were doing.
Yeah.
They gutted her potential a little bit, her presence from the first part of the episode.
But to be fair, there was a lot going on in this episode, and
Right.
if you're going to cut some screen time for someone, it's going to be like the guest star.
To be fair.
Not the second.
Yeah, it makes complete sense, like why, and like it's just kind of one of those like if they had more time, I would have liked to see that continue to be fleshed out. In part 1, she feels more like a force, like Commander Shelby is here.
Yeah.
And in this one, like as soon as she becomes first officer, which is pretty near the beginning, it's like she more or less then just basically fills the first officer role rather than being like Commander Shelby. Kind of what Riker would normally do in some of these kind of big episodes, just kind of filling the first officer role is kind of what she ends up doing, which again, it makes sense.
It works. It's a bit of a shame to drop that conflict that Riker and her had from the first episode. They did kind of come to seeing eye to eye at the end.
It's probably because things are so dire, and it's like they have to move quick. It's like you have to get along. Like you just
totally, and that was kind of in there in that moment too. Yeah. Like we have to move on from this if we're gonna succeed.
Mm-hmm. But they still really work together. Like when you're seeing him on the bridge as like captain and first officer, you don't even question it. Yep. They feel supernatural, and you could see like I could see this being the show. Again, different, but. Even just like the really functional just bridge stuff, they're seamless together as like a 1-2 punch.
But maybe give her some lines, give her something. Her part was greatly reduced.
Yeah,
in the second episode. That sucks.
What are the thoughts on like the do we feel this is a adequate resolution to the Riker storyline started in part 1?
Yeah, I mean, it seems a little sudden at the end, but especially because he had no time. Well, he didn't seem to have much time, but maybe a lot of it was just internal. But yeah, he's right. I think him like getting a taste of the captain's seat and then getting his captain back made him realize I was like, you know what? Actually, I just like being his first officer.
Actually, I love that point because I feel like they addressed that in that moment when he sits down in the captain's chair after that amazing scene with Guinan. And he has but a moment. He relishes it for a second, and then it's like, Captain, we need you on the bridge, and he goes, and he doesn't have any time, right? He just has to be the captain, and he is from that moment on. Mm-hmm. It's so beautifully done. Mm-hmm. Every time Riker has to face Picard, especially on the view screen or something, or he's about to face the Borg, and he turns away from the crew, the sadness and the desperation and like the hopelessness on his face all shows. Mm-hmm. It's all there. As opposed to when he's like facing the crew and talking with people and he's like gung-ho and full Shatner about it, Very interesting performance.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's another thing about being captain is you have to be strong for the crew, regardless of how you feel, which sucks.
Yeah, and like going to our question from earlier, this accepting where you are. I think, I think why this episode in particular is fun because it would be easy to think that like accepting where you are could potentially just lead to this like being too comfortable where you are, which is what he was kind of wondering about himself in part 1. But suddenly this idea of accepting where you are is realizing now I am the captain. He's not the first officer anymore. This is where he is now, and that's what he has to be. It's a fun kind of dynamic, like emotional conflict to kind of consider. And, the title specifically is referring to Riker does end up getting, in quotes, the best of both worlds. Cause it's like, I do want to be a captain and move on with my career, but I want to stay on the Enterprise. And then he gets that, but it's not what he was expecting it to be. So even when he gets everything he wants, he still kind of realizes he has to check in with himself and he has to step up in a way that he didn't think he would have to. Very real. Yeah, just kind of interesting how both like ambition and accepting where you are can still take you to places you don't expect.
And it's going to.
Every time. Yeah, so maybe, I personally, I wish we could see some of that. I like more of the character stuff than, say, the action stuff. But all the action stuff, is handled so well. Like that rescue scene is a really fun beat. The stuff where Data's trying to hack into Picard.
I think, well, besides the Guinan scene, I think the scenes with Data, they're, with Picard, I think, are my favorite parts.
Of the episode?
Yeah.
He plays that really well. Processing.
Stand by.
Stand by. Yeah, Brent Spiner as Data hasn't had really a lot to do in these episodes until he gets the climax with Picard at the end. He's the one who has to go reach him at the end. Yeah.
Picard's still like clinging to him.
Sleep.
Full rigor mortis.
Data. Yeah, I like that too. He plays that really well. It would have been really easy for that stuff to kind of end up being boring. But yeah, he is really in the moment trying to sell it. He does a good job. Kudos on Brent Spiner, the other best part of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
We don't talk about him enough.
And what's the feeling on like the Borg in this episode, especially after part 1, where they just felt like such a doomsday, end of the world threat? Did they maintain that same level of threat here? Since this episode is much more focused on the Borg stuff. What's the feeling on how do they work in this part 2 in particular?
I think for the most part, I was a little confused. Like, why is it taking them so long to like destroy the battle, like the non-saucer section? I was like, shouldn't they just be getting like obliterated? Why are they putting a tractor beam? Like, why? I don't know. But maybe that's just because I can see how fast the Borg destroy ships in like future.
Well, even in this, when like the Mars defense perimeter.
Oh yeah, instant one-shotted.
Dead.
That was the Mars. Oh my God, that was so funny.
These are Russian MiGs, 40, 50 years ago.
Retrofitted for space travel. 3 of them.
They're still using those?
You have 3 fighters defending Earth.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
I mean, they had the Starfleet, but at the Battle of Wolf 359, but
I think we're spread a little thin
we're all a little thin now, yeah.
on the front.
And they all just get completely destroyed by the Borg. Yeah, why does it seem so hard for the Borg to just destroy the Enterprise, but everything else?
Because they lose shields like immediately. But then
every time they come against them.
But then they're still alive.
And then let's do our slow cutting beam, but for other things, one shot.
Yeah, plot armor, a little bit of plot armor there.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
apparently
otherwise,
this takes time.
But otherwise, yeah, the scene where they're flying through the remnants of the fleet, especially when Shelby's giving the names and she names the Melbourne,
Yeah, Riker ship.
and
They
then
did
seeing
have about
the
20 minutes to do all that damage. To be fair.
To be fair.
and then seeing the Mars defense get one-shotted.
Yeah. Pew, pew, pew. Also with the Borg, how do we feel? We haven't really talked about him too much, which is kind of funny. How do we? But he's much more prominent in this episode. How does Patrick Stewart work as the villain, Locutus?
Oh, I love him.
Yeah.
I think he's great.
Yeah.
I think also him, I don't know. I just know that him being like an old Shakespeare stage actor just like helped with that because just this presence. He had big presence,
Huge presence, yeah.
It was really great.
Yeah, it'd be easy for to just be super robotic, which is how the Borg, up until he becomes, Locutus, that's kind of how they are, just this kind of robotic thing coming after them. He's able to put in a little bit of gravitas. You will all become one with the Borg. Incorrect strategy, number 1.
Oh, and I love the way he says
Yes.
number 1. It's just filled with so much. There's so much there.
And that little moment where you see him crying.
Oh yeah.
That was dark. That was heavy. I was like, jeez.
Oh, it's such just like oh my God. And then that scene at the end, he doesn't say anything when they're all in the ready room at the end and like Shelby's like, okay, I'm leaving. Thanks for everyone for the good time. And Riker's like, yeah, I'm going to stay on the ship too. And Picard's there during that whole scene. But if you really pay attention to his performance, like he's putting on a brave face.
He's not really there.
But you can tell something is a little off about him. And then as soon as they leave and he's about to drink his tea and he just kind of just turns to that silent. He doesn't say anything, but oh my God, I don't know. He communicates so much in that moment, just by standing and looking into the eternal nothingness.
just the energy switch in that scene compared to the rest of the entire episode. It's so different.
Mm-hmm.
Also, a great lead into the next episode.
Yep. The music also carries that moment as well. And again, also kudos to Ron Jones.
Yeah, the soundtrack was great.
We should also briefly talk about, this is the first two-parter we've watched on the show.
Really?
Yeah. We haven't watched any two-parters. And in fact, this is only the second two-part episode the franchise has done up to this point.
What's the first one?
The Menagerie.
Oh.
And the original series, Menagerie 1 and 2. And they haven't done a two-parter since then until this one. And especially TNG is famous for its episodic structure. And of course this kind of paves the way for more of these kind of big two-parters. What's the feeling on how Next Gen does with this, especially looking at this one, doing these kind of bigger two-part episodes?
I mean, it definitely deserved that much time.
Yeah.
And even then it was not even enough. Mm-hmm. But and I think they structured it really well. And it being the season finale and then the season premiere really, really worked. Like, even more so. Like, it wouldn't have, like, if it was just waiting a week, it wouldn't have really
hit the same
at all.
What do you think, Aren, on like how are they doing? This is a two-parter.
It's like a low floater and a grand slam home run. Like, just the fact that it came from so many different minds, like from beginning to end, and it ended up in that. It's like,
bravo, guys.
Well done.
Yeah, they do a really good job, and really shows. Yeah, because sometimes there's like should Star Trek be more serialized? There's always like multiple camps in this. It's like, is Star Trek better when it's episodic? Is it better when they serialize it? There's something about these two-parters that I think works really well for Star Trek. When you want to kind of do some of these bigger stories, and this one in particular, I think, they try to do the season cliffhanger every season after this. So from this point on, every season ender is a cliffhanger, and then the part 2 is. And while there's still some good ones, I don't think any of them quite match this. This one is definitely not just good, but exceptional. Should we do a little behind the scenes before we get into final thoughts?
Ooh, I love behind the scenes.
Yeah, Michael Piller came up with the solution to beating the Borg like 2 days before they started filming. He was like, I don't know what we're going to do. It's like, it can't just be like pew-pews, so...
Rewrites.
They're just like, what are we going to do? And eventually he's like, it has to be they stumble upon something, some kind of weakness. And so they stumbled upon this idea of like their interdependency, like the thing that makes them so powerful is also potentially their weakness, which seems obvious, but not when you're trying to figure out how to beat these guys. And
I mean, you have to gain access in some way.
There must be a way.
And then just putting them to sleep, Data. Sleep.
With your primitive android form.
But when all was said and done, Michael Piller has gone on record with feeling a bit disappointed with part 2. He personally didn't feel like the resolution quite lived up to what they set up in part 1. And that has been some of the general consensus in the fandom, that part 2 isn't as good as part 1. But as a whole, this is one of the best stories that they do in Star Trek. I think Cliff Bull, who directed both of these, also echoes similar things. He thought the ending was a cop-out. Let's just put him to sleep. But I'm like, what else are you going to do?
I mean, I thought that was genius.
He loved directing both of these, and And in particular with part 2, he loved that it was more of the action thing, and he wanted to get to do a bigger kind of action set piece thing for Star Trek. Because so much of the show up to this point was more of like the philosophical, ethical quandary storytelling, and he really wanted to get in there and like, no, but we can do like some really big. So he loved doing part 2, but did feel like the ending was a cop out.
Oh no, I loved it. I thought putting them to sleep is a great idea, and it's funny now how Data's like, this is a non-priority system, you know, for all their smarts and whatever, you know, to not consider that everyone, all of them regenerating at the same time might be a weakness, you know. I like that they can be exploited that way because they're not perfect, despite their search for perfection.
They get hacked.
They get hacked by Data. Thank God Data's there. It's like, yeah, they wouldn't have done it without him.
Yep.
Master hacker.
Thank God Data's here. Just like, everyone's like, 3 cheers for Riker. And Data's just like...
It's a good thing I don't feel any emotion, or I'd be pretty fucking jaded right now.
Jordy, what does it feel like to be enraged?
That's funny.
All right, yeah. Any final thoughts on the Best of Both Worlds? Part 2?
Just really enjoyed it. I definitely felt like I was watching a TNG movie.
Yeah. Still holds up, lives up to the hype.
Yeah, and now I really want to go watch the next episode.
Okay, so it's official, folks. Next Generation's the best Star Trek show.
Oh.
You heard it here. You heard it here. Aren has agreed.
Aren hates Star Trek.
So someone come save me, please.
We're
I'm being held here against my will.
Please, Voyager. Give me Voyager. Aren, final thoughts on Best of Both Worlds Part 2?
It feels like a missed opportunity to have Picard a Borg for longer. Right, like you just got him right back, you know?
Do you think so, you know, a lot of these modern Star Trek shows, they do like these 10-episode seasons, and, you know, there might be like a big recurring plot. Do you think if they were doing this now, it would be like a whole season where like Picard is the Borg, like 10 episodes?
At least half a
season. They get
season.
it back? Okay.
Right? There's some meat on that bone. They could have explored it because it's so devastating. Like, what a shocker from that season finale. Right? They could have explored that a little more.
Yeah, because also if he had been a Borg longer, they might not have been able to connect with him, you know, and disconnect him as easily. You know, he wouldn't have been able to give them the hint or, you know.
I mean, yeah, but without the context of everything we know now, they're exploring the Borg kind of for the first time. They kind of could have done whatever.
It's true. That's true.
I mean, this is still early 90s TV. This is the first 2-parter they've ever done. So they are still very much limited by the kind of show they have to pump out week after week. So I feel like this is as good as doing something like this could possibly be with what they have to work with for this show.
And I mean, they do have that the follow-up episode where he goes back to Earth that kind of focuses, you know, on him so they don't completely drop it.
Yeah. No, and yeah, this is one of these things that, like, it's not like this is never brought back up again.
Yeah.
This is part of his character.
Yeah, which is great. I'm glad they...
Point on. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Aren, for coming on and watching both of these episodes with us.
Of course.
Really fun. I told you we'd get you in for a better one. So between Best of Both Worlds and A Land of Troyes...
Well, I mean, it's no contest, Land of Troyes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Tears
Thank you.
super
Finally,
love
someone who
potion.
understands.
Talk about an episode that needed to be a 2-parter. He gets infected by the love potion, and then I love you. Got to wait till next season.
Ooh.
2 people are watching the show at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I would be content to never see A Land of Troyes ever again. But I would like to see this one again.
Yeah,
You know, especially if it fades from my memory once again because of my TNG disease.
even this one fades.
Yeah, I literally did not remember any of that.
Even as we're talking, it's just slipping away.
What are we talking about?
Star Trek Picard Season 3.
Oh, guys, are we going to do the episode? Like, are we going to watch?
Yeah, guys.
I'm ready.
Star Trek Bust Both Worlds. We've been waiting hours.
Oh, I thought
Dead
we were
ass
here
have
for
already
justice.
kind of forgotten the lieutenant commander's name. What's her name? Blake?
Shelby.
Shelby?
Thank you, Aren. Aren, as always, thank you.
Thank you, Jaron. Thank you, Aren.
And thank you all at home for listening to our silly podcast. Next week, we are going to be wrapping up our look at the TNG Renaissance. And, you know, when I was originally putting together this list, this could have been the end. Like I said, this was kind of like a culmination. But there's one episode after this that I feel like has to be the real note we go out on. And Aren, you've brought it up a couple times already. Next week, we are going to be watching Family. And this is not a sequel to this episode, but it is essentially an epilogue to this episode. And, you know, we just had this big 2-part thing, and Family's just a regular, just single episode. But Family, this one, it was a very unique and unusual episode for the franchise at this point. So I think it's going to be a fun, interesting one to kind of go out on for this section of the podcast. And we will be bringing on a new friend to talk about that one with us. We are getting one of our first listeners of the podcast is going to be coming on to talk about Family with us. So that'll be a lot of fun. You'll have to tune in to find out who.
You new guest.
All right. Yeah. Looking forward to that. Thank you all for listening. Next week, Family. And then until then, we will see you all later.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Tschüss.
Thanks for listening. If you'd like to share us your own Star Trek story, you can email us at storiedstartrek@gmail.com, or you can visit our Discord server. You can find us by clicking on the link in the show description.